The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
Welcome back to our weekly podcast here where it's all about college sports. And, of course, we do it with the UAB Athletic Director, Mark Ingram. It's called the UAB Director's Chair. We go a little heavy on UAB sports because we got the man sitting here. But we talk about college sports in general as well. Mark, I know you get ready to go on a vacation, so I want to thank you for fitting our show in before you took off. I know you deserve it. It's been a long fall, spring, already getting into summer, and we're fixing to kick off some college football here in about 7 or 8 weeks. It's right around the corner, my man.
Yeah, well, there's a window of time. It's like the last week of June to about the middle of July. And that's about the only time anymore people really feel like they can take a vacation in our industry. You know, it used to be once the semester was over, call it May 1st, that you had until August 1st that you could do, but now with just planning and summer camps and any coaching transitions that you might have, it just all happens in the summer. And it's now when we have our conference spring meetings, and we have it's not so much spring, right? Conference spring meeting is more like conference summer meeting, and then you have a national convention and that kind of stuff. And anyway, so yeah, we just finished up football camps, and they were the largest football camps we've ever had in terms of our attendance. Yeah, it's really great. I think they've done a nice job marketing the camps. And one of the things that Coach Mortensen did that I thought was a brilliant move is he offered a flag football camp for young ladies who play high school flag football.
Oh, that's cool.
And we obviously don't sponsor flag football, but that doesn't mean we can't have a flag football camp.
Sure.
And so, we hosted a camp here. And I don't know the numbers. I should ask him, but I happened to be at the office when they were doing check-in. I bet there were 200 girls there.
Wow, that's great.
Camp. Yeah, because what he said was they didn't grow up necessarily having somebody teach them the proper mechanics of throwing a football, catching a football, pursuit angles to tackle, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't tackle, but same concept, pulling a flag. And it was totally a learning camp. But there are some schools that have started to add it as a varsity sport. And so some of those schools came for recruiting. So it was great for the kids that were in attendance, but that was his last camp. I think it was a week ago today, last week. So that's awesome. Good, really good. That's Andy Kennedy cool. And Randy Norton, they've been having their camp. So anyway, it's been busy here. Not to mention, if you hear any noise in the background, steel banging around here on the arena.
There you go.
Been good too.
Yeah, I was hanging out with my boy a couple of days ago, and we were talking about that expansion. I know you just broke some dirt a couple of weeks ago, so we're looking forward, of course, to Bartow Arena, which will be done, hopefully, should be done sometime in October prior to, of course, basketball season kicking off. He's Mark Ingram. He's the athletic director for the UAB Blazers. I love having you on. We have coaches on all the time talking X's and O's and this, that, and the other, but I always mention the fact that I like the fact that you can pull the curtain back on some things, and you are an athletic director, and so you know exactly what's going on with all the changes going on in college sports. Almost every single day, something new is happening, and so I always try to get some of that information and have you kind of explain to us. I'm seeing where the latest rules that are coming out are talking about the 5 and 5. We will no longer have injury red shirts outside of bereavement. You're getting 5 years and 5 years, and somehow that it's affecting the high school class of 2022. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, what the rule has been is you had 5 years to play 4. So you had a red shirt year plus 4 years of eligibility. And every sport has a different rule on can you or can you not play at all and still red shirt. Like in baseball, if you go to the plate, if we let you hit one time, you cannot redshirt. Furthermore, if you go to the plate and you don't even complete that at bat, like if you go to the plate and let's say a guy gets picked off at first and all you did was walk to the batter's box and come out, you can't redshirt.
Yes. Wow.
Now in football, we did what I think was a good thing a few years ago, where you could play any amount of football in 4 games. You could play 4 games and still redshirt. But it could be game 1, game 6, game 8, and 10, and you could still redshirt. And the value in that was that I'm the backup and I haven't played, and then it's the 10th or 11th game of the year and the starter gets hurt and I go in and I end up playing one game or a game and a half and I lose a whole year.
Yep.
That was the idea. Okay. The downside to that became players themselves, once they had played in 4 games, if the season wasn't going well, they would go to the coach and say, "Hey, coach, I've decided I'm going to redshirt." Like they could dictate that.
Yeah.
And some coaches will look back at them and say, "Hey, that's not how that works. You're playing." And, then there'd be this back and forth. And you're like, for a person like myself, I can't even fathom saying that to a coach, but kids did it every year, multiple times on every single team in the country. If they got in and even if the season wasn't going well, let's say the season is going well, but it's apparent maybe they've played a little bit of special teams. They would just say, "Hey, I don't want to burn a whole year for, 8 snaps a game on kickoff and kickoff return. I don't want to, I've done it 4 times. I'd like to redshirt." So anyway, you have that. And then of course, somebody play 4 games and then one play in the 5th game and we'd file a waiver for that kid. So the NCAA has just been bombarded with waiver requests for additional years of eligibility. And so they finally, whether it be for an injury or whatever the reason. And so finally it was just like, "Hey, look, let's just go 5 years and there's no more redshirting. You just play 5 years. You have 5 now." And why that impacts this upcoming class is kids that or the 2022 class that you asked about is, so let's say you just finished, the way the rule came out is this begins with the fall of 27. Okay. So if you're it's a little odd. If you're starting school in 26, oh no, let's see, hold on. Well, it's the 26-27 class. So if you're starting school, this will apply to you that you get 5 years. If you're already in school, you get 5 years. Like you would like add a year. Mm-hmm. But if you were a person from 22 that just finished your 4th year, your senior year, they're not giving them a 5th. They're
not giving an extra 5th year. I get you.
And so the lawsuits that I think you mentioned off air before the show started is there was a number of attorneys ready to take on the cases of all these kids who wanted a 5th year that just finished their 4th year, almost like, "Hey, well, why are you restricting this why are you cutting me out? I'm in, I'd like to keep playing." And I don't know how many kids actually want to keep playing.
There's 15 as of right now. Yeah.
Well, there's like 50 lawsuits. Yeah. There's about 50 players in this lawsuit. My guess is that number will grow. But it won't be every senior. Funny enough, there's a lot of kids who, by the time they get to that point, they've loved it, but they also are ready to go on with life. Maybe they're going to grad school. Maybe they're getting married. Maybe they've got a job that they're excited about. And
maybe they're not getting paid. Maybe they're not getting paid $60,000.
Yeah, they're not making. Yeah, that's right. And remember, Tony, even though we spend so much time talking about that money, the vast majority of student athletes, the 500,000 student athletes that are out there, the vast majority are not getting any money beyond their scholarship. And like I said, maybe their sport, they feel beat up. They're like, I'm good. I've had a great experience. I'm done. They're not mad, They're just ready to move on. So,
well, I don't know too many seniors either that are thinking to themselves, "This is the last time I'm ever going to take a snap, or last time I'm ever going to take a 3-point shot, and I'm not going to play at the next level." Yeah. And by playing another year, this is going to enable me to have that dream come true. It's not going to happen in a year. This is not a Cam Newton situation where you're going to have the most unbelievable. If you're 6'3", you're 6'3". At the age of 21, that's it. You're not going to grow 3 or 4 inches. The next thing you know, you're going to be an NBA star. So, speaking of the NBA, you and I haven't even mentioned this, but Yaxel Lenneborg goes in the draft 110th, Golden State. Beautiful story, wonderful story, and I was so happy for you guys to see that UAB was mentioned multiple times because talking about the junior college he was in before he got to UAB, and then obviously the 2 years here, and they ran some wonderful tape and some great highlights from Bartow Arena, which it's just fantastic. And that's something, you can really, really hang your hat on. The fact that the Big Ten Player of the Year and now a guy that's going to be making an impact at the next level, played not 1 but 2 years at UAB, and no one blames him for going to Michigan and winning a national title and doing what he had to do. He's obviously going to be on television a lot more. He's going to be better opportunities for him in the Big Ten. But I wanted to congratulate you on that. That's fantastic. I don't know if you can hang a jersey or if you have anything special you want to do for him down the road, if there's anything you can do special, but that's certainly something that you need to say.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. I mean, on the subject of NBA, Trey Jemison just won an NBA championship with the Knicks. He was on a two-way contract with the Knicks. He'll have a championship ring, and we have a great picture of him holding the trophy. And he received the key to the city of New York. I don't know if what I haven't figured out yet is, did they give the key to the city to Trey Jemison, or did Trey Jemison just receive the key on behalf of the team? I don't know. But either way, Trey Jemison got a key to the city.
I think everyone is given a key, I think is how it works. Normally everyone's given
I don't know. It's cool.
Key. It doesn't fit anything, but at least it makes you feel
good. And so then, Yaxel gets drafted by the Golden State Warriors 11th. And he would have been, when he left us, he had entered his name into the draft, and they were saying that he was projected to be a late first-round draft pick. They thought he was going to be a first-round draft pick last year, but he improved his draft stock, significantly by going to Michigan, and not by going to Michigan, but really by playing another year.
Sure.
Which I think he could have done from here as well. But point is, by staying another year in college, and that the financial difference is vast in terms of every single draft pick better is dramatic. So good for him. He's a great kid. We're happy for him. We're doing this renovation of the arena, and I think I've probably said this before on the show. I know I've said it, but one of the interesting things about the arena to me is, with all of our history, there's not one photograph on the concourse of a former player or coach. Not one. And so part of the renovation is a nice graphics package all the way around the concourse that will include, moments in time that people will, and we won't be able to get every single of the most fond memories in there. There's not a lot of wall space. Yeah. It's kind of funny when you walk around, because all four sides are glass. Mm-hmm. There's not a ton of wall space. The wall space is sort of in the corners where the bathrooms are. Yeah. So you have the openings to go into the restrooms, and then you've got on the inner wall of the concourse, you've got concession stands. So there's a few blank walls, and we're going to have some things. And it wouldn't surprise me if you saw, at a minimum, you're going to see a picture. We're going to have images of every single All-American. If you're an All-American in men's basketball, women's basketball, or volleyball, those are the three sports that play here. Mm-hmm. So if you're an All-American, there will definitely be an image of you. And if you're a first-team all-conference player, there will definitely be an image of you. So we started with that group first, as to who would we try to highlight, and then after that, layering in other kind of notable players that people hopefully remember, and just maybe it's a picture of a game or a team photo that was significant. So
I love it. And what was, I didn't, obviously I said to my son, wouldn't it be great if Andy Kennedy was actually there for you saw Andy come up and give him.
I know. Well, Aaron Johnson was there.
Yeah, Aaron was there, and I didn't know if that was something that Andy would even be invited to, or whether they would want Andy to be something like that. Obviously, to have Andy Kennedy on national TV, actually would be, because a lot of people don't know about UAB, and they go, well, "Why is he there?" I think would have been.
I'm sure
really,
that he could have gone. I did not ask Andy about being there, but I'm sure he could have gone. Aaron Johnson.
That's got to make him feel pretty flippant special too.
And it's great to look. It's strong recognition for UAB and for our program, and that'll only help him in recruiting. I mean, he's been using those examples: Jelly Walker, Trey Jemison, KJ Buffin, and now Yaxel, and plenty of other guys who have come here, and whether they're playing on a two-way or on an NBA team or at a high level in Europe, there's a proof of concept that if you come here and you work in his system, he's a fantastic coach, and that he can get you ready for that level. And
that's a wonderful.
And so there's all these great examples of it.
Wonderful way to play a proof of concept, and I think we've all pretty much figured this out. That if you are a guy that's going to be playing in the National Basketball Association, to say you could not play for UAB, you certainly could. Yeah. There's a good chance you'll probably be transferring out to a bigger, better school that's going to be on television almost every single day of the week. So we'll find out. But congratulations congratulations to you. I thought that was fantastic. And as athletic director, I was thinking about you. I thought that was just wonderful accolades to you and your department and what you've done. Protect College Sports Act. We kind of like find out what's going on with that. Is there something new going on? You mentioned that at the top of the show. You just like, do you want me to talk about that? What's happening there?
Yeah. So there's a bipartisan bill called Protect College Sports Act. It did pass through the Senate Commerce Committee last week, which was a nice first step. It was a first hurdle that had to be cleared. Now, it was not a unanimous, so that's a little concerning. There were 9 people who opposed it, and there will be people who oppose it not because they oppose it, but because of political reasons. Like, this is just politics, right? Like, hey, I'm not going to vote yes for your thing unless you vote yes for my thing. And they're not related things. This is a highway thing that I want in my state, and I need you to vote yes for this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you want me to vote yes for your thing, I need you to. So there'll be some of that, which is just part of the game, I guess, in that space. But what it does is it gives antitrust protection to the NCAA, primarily so that we can continue to enforce our own rules. We have rules against most of the things that we all become frustrated with, transfers and gambling and all kinds of things. And then what has been happening most recently is people find sympathetic judges in their state that will say the NCAA cannot enforce its rules in our state. Well, the NCAA isn't a law enforcement agency. They don't have laws. They have bylaws. And so when the state of Tennessee finds a sympathetic judge, and now Diego Pavia gets a 7th year to play football at Vanderbilt, well, it's not about nobody's trying to hurt Diego Pavia or Vanderbilt. But since that time, that same judge has come back and said, had I realized the Pandora's box I was opening, I would not have opened it. That's my understanding. I mean, that the judge has not said that to me.
It's hard to believe that a judge would say that too, because every judge is opening up a box. But yeah,
but the judge has apparently denied multiple similar requests since that. And so, but just as an example, the state of Mississippi did it for Chambliss. Most recently, the Brendan Sorsby case in Texas, where the Texas judge ruled that he would be eligible. And you get the attorneys general coming out and saying that, if the Big 12, the state attorney general, the Big 12 and NCAA, if they try to, pose any sanctions to Texas Tech, we will use the full weight of our authority to fight that and go back and countersue the NCAA and all this kind of thing. And it's like, and I don't know if that's exactly the way that all went, but that was sort of the news we were getting. And that's where you have to have federal help. It's like, hey, look, we can only do so much. And the things that there's almost 100 sports that have been cut since the House settlement nationally, golf, and they're almost all non-revenue sports, non-revenue producing sports. And this is about trying to protect those things. And you say, well, what does that got to do with it? Well, because we can't enforce our own rules, we have no rules around all this paying players business, and we don't have the authority to have rules around paying players. So we've got to have federal help so that we can do that. If we don't do that, sports will continue to be eliminated nationwide. You're required to have 16 sports to be Division I. And basically what's happening is people are trying to do everything they can to get closer to 16. Yeah. If they got 20, it's like, well, all right, we got to cut 4, or can we cut 2? Anything we can do to get closer to free up budget space to go towards paying football and basketball players in revenue producing sports, because that's where you produce revenue.
Yeah.
Right. That's where you sell tickets. So it's like we need to be competitive in the place where we sell tickets. It becomes more of a business. We're not a business. We're an enterprise. Yeah. And if we were a business, we would just have 1 or 2 sports. But that's not what we are. We provide academic support and opportunities to, for UAB, almost 500 student athletes, and most of them are not on sports that generate revenue. Is it your fault that you're an elite golfer? It's not your fault that golf doesn't produce revenue and you're elite at playing golf and you come to UAB. but people are like, oh, well, let's eliminate our golf team or our tennis team or our bowling team or our, our swim team. These and like for those kids that happen to be elite at that, what they do, they're the ones who get caught up in that because the department and the universities, almost at no fault of their own, are like, hey, man, we just can't afford to have that many sports anymore.
Yeah.
We don't not love your sport. And we certainly don't not love the kids. But math has to work.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net, info at TonyCurryRadio.net. I was looking over to write. I was checking some emails to make sure I wasn't missing anything before we went off the show, but it was an interesting email that just came in a couple days ago from Michael down on the South Side. He wanted to know if there was anything based on the Bartow Arena expansion, if you will, on the remodeling. Is there anything where the fans can be part of anything that has to do with the remodeling of the arena? I guess what he's asking, is there any way that someone can make a donation, can be part of a booster thing or something where maybe they put their name on a brick? Is there something at the new place that can make the new arena as individual as you want it to be as a fan?
Well, we certainly appreciate any contributions to the project because it's an expensive project and one we're, very proud of. And we are going to recognize our donors. There's a kind of a donor wall where, people that made gifts to the project will be thanked is the purpose of that. Now, we don't have any opportunities for people to come swing a sledgehammer. I'm sure that our contractor, Stone Building, I'm sure they would love the helping hands down here to haul, debris away and all that kind of thing. But, for safety purposes, obviously we can't do that. But yeah, I mean, people that want to make contributions certainly can. And look, if you buy club seats in the new C Spire Club, you're helping out because some of the dollars from those seats go specifically to the project budget for the construction. And then really anybody who buys season tickets for us is helping the whole revenue generation concept that we're now managing through for, compensating athletes. We just need revenue in every possible way we can get it. So we're going to start seat selection July the 21st. I think it's the 21st. And when that happens, our fans are going to be able to come down and one by one hand select their own seats in the building because the seats are all new. The whole lower level is different than it was before. So when people say, well, I just want to sit in my same seat, can I do that? Well, yes and no. Your seat doesn't exist anymore in the way that it did before. There's a seat kind of close to where you used to sit. So you can come pick out that seat, but it's not the same chair. All the seats in that entire kind of rounded, there were tunnels coming out of the corners, and the seats were kind of rounded. From tunnel to tunnel, all those seats in the lower level are new. All the seats, nearly every seat in the entire lower level is a new chair. Good. And so we've created more leg room on a lot of areas, and some of the seats are bleachers for students. And so it's just not the same configuration. So we're encouraging people to come down here. We've got a really cool simulator, an electronic simulator from a company called Bellina. And we use this for Protective Stadium when we did seat selection there. When you come in, you get to see the seat that you're going to sit in, and you get a view of the court and the whole building. You can 360 around and see, this is what my view from from my chair, this is what it'll look like to the court. Sweet. And it's really cool. Yeah. That's so cool. I encourage people to do that. And then you can, maybe you came down with the intention of getting two seats, but there's a single next to you and you go, I'll pick up that one too, because I got that buddy that wants to come with me every so often, so it also gets you very interactive and intimately involved with the process so that you get exactly what you want.
There you go. 2 months from tonight, AC/DC in Atlanta. Just saying.
Oh, baby, just saying.
Yeah, just saying. I cannot wait for that show. I'm looking forward to that. And having
you're going?
Just been
Did you tell me you're going to that?
Well, yeah, we were supposed to be the one in Nashville, and of course the weather turned it around on us.
Is this the one? Is it at the Brave Stadium or is it at Mercedes?
No, it's at Mercedes.
Wow.
Yeah, which is great because I'm not really into stadium shows because they're just too big. They're just I'm not saying it has to be intimate. It's just too loud. It's just too big. It's
Right.
you don't feel like you're part of anything. And the fact they're going to be closing the roof will make it a little more intimate. And the fact that there's going to be more tickets, so you can always make your way down. But I know you'll probably try to figure that out too. So.
Yeah.
All right, my man. UABsports.com. UABsports.com. Check out the website. Thank you so much for everything. Enjoy your weekend. We may have you live from a different destination next Thursday. We have you on. So if you can make that happen, we'd love to have you on. So in the meantime, enjoy your vacation. Give your family my love and go Blazers.
All right, pal. Thank you. Go Blazers.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.